Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello again. Welcome to Talking Real Money, the Real Money radio show, Real Money podcast, and this week, Real Money special combo cast, because we're going to turn this weekend show into a video that you can watch on YouTube. So if you call, you too will be on YouTube.
But which, by the way, you could do any day without our help. So just so you know.
Would you quit spoiling the fun?
Pretty tough to go set up your own YouTube channel these days. Woo! Yeah.
You are really a killjoy. You're spoil sport.
Yeah, okay. I'll grant you that. Yeah. Okay.
In a incredibly blinding shirt.
How about that?
Tom is here in the studio with me in Florida because he just grew tired of being cold in Seattle.
You're laughing, but I've been outside about half the time I've been here, and it is delightful, I got to say.
And then tomorrow we're going up to the soccer stadium, the new Orlando soccer stadium, to watch the World Cup qualifier.
This is actually a World Cup game. You're going to.
Is it a World Cup game or a World Cup qualifier?
It's part of the World Cup. The World Cup finals are held in Qatar in November, December.
Are these the semifinals?
No, these are just these are World Cup games, qualifying matches. But these are World Cup games.
The Sweet 16, the Elite 8.
You don't use your hands. These are World Cup. Well, the goalie. These are World Cup games.
Right.
So get over it.
Just keep saying
that. It's a big deal. Big deal.
Because they're playing Panama.
Yeah, well, might win.
Didn't they used to be part of the United States anyway?
They have a canal or something.
We took it. Didn't we take it from them?
For a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. Want to call us with a question? Oh, gosh, we hope. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. Give us a holler. We'd love to hear from you. Tom actually heard from somebody who called about a commercial that they heard on the radio.
Well, we'll give a shout out to Paul. He's a regular listener and regular contributor. Yes, He sends me stuff. Thank you, Paul.
Paul said, well, who are these guys that are running all these commercials? Well, we've heard the commercials. We haven't talked about them in a very long time, but it is a very bothersome organization. It really is all that's wrong with Wall Street.
It literally is.
Yeah, it's all that's wrong with it.
Because they're making up a problem that still, to my mind, has not existed. They're saying it's coming. It's going to be a problem. And that is having the old standby 60% stock, 40% bond portfolio will not work in the future.
And what fascinates me is they state it as if it's fact.
Yeah, right.
How can you ever say that 60-40 will not work when 60-40 has worked incredibly well for as far back as we have records?
Decade after decade.
100 years.
Yeah. And by the way, they're telling you, so instead of that, give us your money. Modernize your portfolio away from the 60-40, and we will do wonderful things. We'll put it in art. We'll invest it in private credit. I think those are like loans, real estate, private equity. How about this? How about having some of your money exposed to lawsuits? Because that's a great asset class, one that you shouldn't miss out on.
You buy the potential of a big settlement in a lawsuit.
Sure.
They have these mutual funds of sorts. They're not for just little people. You got to put at least $50,000 in. And
you have to be accredited.
Accredited.
In today's world is a silly
accredited.
thing. Yeah, right. Doesn't mean much.
And I'm not a wealthy person by any stretch of the imagination.
Anybody who has a home in the Seattle area for about 2 years is now accredited. Yeah, pretty much.
But they sell this mutual fund of sorts that is, they have one that's in a little bit of everything. It's called their multi-class fund. And here's what they promise you on this. This multi-class fund has art in it, like Banksy. You can buy some Banksy.
Yeah.
Commercial paper, consumer debt, legal lawsuits, non-publicly traded real estate, non-publicly traded companies, And they promise you in writing, I love this, an 8% distribution rate.
Of some of the
8%.
gain?
Well, let me read
please.
read the actual disclaimer. It says distribution rate 8%. Now, what do you think as a consumer when you read 8% distribution
I'm
rate?
making 8%.
per
Yeah,
year,
that's what people think. Yeah, of course.
That's good, isn't it? But you look at the little number 1, the superscript number 1 next to it, and it says quarterly distributions may exceed the fund's earnings, which may cause a portion of the fund's distributions to be a return of the money originally invested.
There was a guy who did stamps that way 100 years ago. His name was Ponzi. That's it. I mean, I'm not saying they're a Ponzi scheme, but returning cap or from the new. Anyway, it's risky. And they've been investigated not long ago by the Securities and Exchange
the FBI.
Commission. Oh, I didn't know the FBI part.
And the FBI over a scheme to somebody tricked them into buying some ships that didn't exist. And their management fee is, get this, 1.5%. So here's the downside. 1, you don't know what you're going to make. Oh, and by the way, you only get liquidity if they want you to be able to get to your money. Oh, that's nice. This is a bad investment all around.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
A second opinion could save your life either physically or fiscally. Let one of our Vestory advisors help you save your future at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Yeah, and you can call us right now at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255.
Big news from the mean streets that are YieldStreets. I just found out that this might be the final, little thing that pushes you over the line for their credibility. They have been named. This is official. This is no joke. They have been named the alternative investment provider for the New York Football Giants. That, I got to tell you right there, if anything is going to say credibility, that says it.
I wonder how much of the 1.5% expense ratio went to paying the New York Football Giants.
That would be a curious question.
I guarantee it was a fairly large chunk of change.
And that's such a silly.
You want to be the official guy in the orange shirt for the New York Football Giants? Just write him a check.
Exactly.
I'm the original white guy on a podcast who pretends to be Curly on a. Never mind.
Hey Mo, yeah, got it.
Hey Mo,
we got a lot of people lined up here, so we should get to them.
855-935-TALK is our number, and we have a lot of people lined up.
Yeah, we got 3, and John has been waiting since
the beginning of time.
Berlin fell.
John, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. You guys do a great service. You help people understand about investing and how to save for retirement. And I don't think there's another program that can match what you've done.
That means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Donna,
they like me.
My wife and I have been to you over 30 years. We started out when you were advocating certain mutual funds, and then watched you evolve to index investing.
Yeah, I got smarter.
We just kind of followed right along with. Yes, and then with John Bogle coming out with his book on investing, that really did it for us. So we switched everything to index at that time.
Good for you.
And we've been retired for about 30 years or 20 years, and we got to the point where we were not living on our retirement, but we had other income, so we were just saving it for the future. So we went to our investment ratio to 70-30. That's worked out really well for us, starting in about 2000.
Oh my gosh, I guess so.
Yeah, it's been a great run for a portfolio that's 70% in stocks. Well done, John.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, but it's not without your help and guidance. The couple of things I'd like to tell you is that back in 2000, we started buying I-bonds, and some of our base rates at 3%, and they've done exceptionally well. But there's a problem with that, and the problem is that, according to my accountant and also the attorney, you can't give them away, and they can't be inherited.
Nope.
Yep, they have to be sold.
Yep, they have to be cashed out. Yeah, that's a minor detriment, really, because they're giving you what they consider to be a nice little benefit, and they want you to get out of the darn thing. They don't want them going. They don't want them going multiple generations.
Yes. Okay.
And what was the other thing you had, sir?
That's the only hiccup. Well, that was basically it. But
yeah,
we have like 10% of our portfolio.
But that's fine. That's fine because your state, when they're still, it's a bonus. They're going to have to cash them in, pay a few taxes, but overall, it's still a nice chunk of change you're going to leave to somebody because you've been such a good investor. And thank you so much for both listening and actually paying attention, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, I look at a lot of portfolios where people say, hey, I've been following your advice for 25 years.
Yeah.
Which part of the advice?
Yeah.
So,
well,
anyway.
I've got an indexed annuity, and I've got 4 active funds. Anyway.
John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I agree with Don. We really do appreciate the kind words.
855-935-TALK's the number. And Robert, you're up next. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Hey, Robert, what's up?
Hey, so my father has a 401k, and when he passes away, that will be going to me. What are my options to do with it?
Well, your options, primarily, you're going to take that 401k. Is he taking distributions from that today, I assume?
Yeah, slowly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here would be I think it's going to make more sense for you to open an inherited IRA somewhere and roll the 401k to an inherited IRA, and then you will be forced to take that money out over a 10-year period. There's some question right now as to the rule making around whether you're going to have to divide it up evenly among the 10 years. Right now, under the current rules, you could wait and take it all in the 10th year, but you will be required to take that out and pay tax on it at that time.
Okay. And there's no other option to go around?
I don't think you can leave it in the company-sponsored plan.
No.
I mean,
you can take it out as a lump sum and pay taxes on the whole thing,
true.
But those are your options. You can either pay taxes all at once or extend them out over a decade.
Yeah. How big an amount are we talking about?
I think it's around 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you could just simply take the 100,000 as income. You'd pay tax on the entire thing, and then that just becomes part of your spending plan, saving plan, or whatever. I mean, I would advocate doing the inherited IRA because you can take the money out over time and pay the tax over time.
Yeah, I concur. I agree with him. It's a better way to do it. You can take more if you need it, but you don't have to.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for answering my question.
You are very welcome. Thanks for being a part of the program. Our number again is 855-935-TALK. I'm Don. That's Tom. We're in the studio at the exact same time in the exact same place. Usually when we talk with each other, we're doing it on a flat screen 3,000 miles apart.
We better hope none of those drones are around. What was your take, by the way?
I'm locked in. We're locked down.
That's a good point. Yeah. What was your take and you alluded to it last hour briefly, to the I'm old but not an idiot story?
We didn't even mention the story.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
We mentioned it briefly.
Yeah, so briefly.
You
Nobody
said,
paid any
old
attention.
man, blah, blah, blah. What's your take? I mean, in other words, the guy
he's
is 79.
Yeah,
You said he's whining.
Yeah.
He's complaining that his bank no longer, you can't just walk in and get money. Now you got to use an app to get a hold of somebody. And he thinks that's not reasonable. Here's my question to you.
All right, go ahead.
What is reasonable? What should people expect in terms of service from their financial institutions?
Whatever they provide, and if
yeah,
it
but
is not
so they've changed the rules here. You used to be able to walk in.
There were no rules. They just basically said, here are the services. The services. Have most banks gone from counter service to ATMs?
Yeah.
They changed the rules. What's your option?
Yeah, but his point is they're making it hard on me because I don't know how to use their fancy app.
Then learn how to use the app.
Which is kind of, it's close to home.
Close to home for you. Okay, I get it. This is personal for you.
You can check it all. I'm old but not an idiot. It's all over the internet.
What I'm saying is go to another bank. Santander, which is who we're with, is a huge bank. Find a little one close to home.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh, by the way, our phone number is 855-935-TALK. Earlier in the hour, we were talking about YieldStreet.
Yeah.
Well, you can't buy it in Nebraska or North Dakota.
Because
I don't know. They're just smarter than everybody else.
they can't get licensed in Nebraska? I guess I didn't bless you. I didn't realize Nebraska had a very restrictive securities
or North
laws.
Dakota.
Yeah, I would have thought they'd be more wide. Anyway, interesting. I mean, again, this
Either
is
that
a
or
gimmick.
they just didn't want to file there because it's Nebraska, North Dakota.
Not enough people to make it worthwhile.
Love Nebraska.
Yeah.
No, I've driven through it 1,000 times.
I've driven through North Dakota. Nice place.
Once. I've driven through North Dakota once. Nebraska, a lot. Because it's so close to Colorado.
Yep.
Hey, welcome back. 855-935-TALK. I'm Don. That's Tom. And Jerry is up next. Jerry, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Are you calling from Nebraska?
He's not calling from Nebraska.
Calling from Michigan, actually.
All right.
Wow. I thought Washington, but no, Michigan. That's good.
Good to
What's
hear
up,
from
Jerry?
you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. My mother-in-law is recently widowed, and she has a brokerage account with Raymond James. And I don't know that much about Raymond James. And what I was hoping I could get from you guys is off the cuff whether you know that if they're a fiduciary.
Nope.
First of all.
Nope. We can guarantee that.
Wait.
Now they may be duly registered.
Now, can't make that statement.
Yeah,
they're not always.
They're not always.
You said they're not at all.
Okay, I didn't mean to say they're not at all.
That's
I can
not true.
guarantee you if you walk in the doors to Raymond James today, well, maybe not today because they won't be open. Maybe not Monday because they might not be open Monday. Don says don't expect anything from your financial services provider. They may or may not be in their offices. But at any rate,
they're online.
They're duly registered. They're duly registered as a registered investment advisor and a broker-dealer. That just means that they won't necessarily always put your mother-in-law's interest first. Don's looking them up in terms of what they charge.
And I can tell you, do you happen to know the name of even one fund that she has in her portfolio?
I actually have a list of
good.
her largest holdings.
Oh, give me the names of those, and I can tell you. I can tell you whether this person's a fiduciary or not.
And some of these I'm not even acquainted with.
Yeah, well,
for example, Loomis Sales.
Yeah, Loomis Sales. Yeah.
LGMCX.
Wait a minute, hold on. Give me the symbol again.
LGMCX.
LGMCX. Now let's find out.
I know Loomis Sales.
Oh,
so I was right then. I was correct.
Oh my gosh! It's a C share,
which is.
Let me explain what a C share is.
I wouldn't even wish that on my mother-in-law.
Let me explain what a C share is. A C share is this guy or gal is a terrible financial advice provider.
A C share rhymes with map. You can figure it out from there.
A C share. C shares were called by Christopher Dodd, one of the former chairmen of the Securities and Exchange Commission, a load fund in drag.
Trying to hide the fact that they're charging your mother-in-law a commission.
Well, but they hide the commission in a annual expense ratio. Now, how long have you listened to the show?
Probably about 4 months.
Have you ever heard us mention the expense ratios of funds like Vanguard's funds?
Yeah, for sure.
Like 0.1%.
I'm a Vanguard client.
Yeah, like 0.1%. Maybe 0.2 for some of the more expensive ones. The expense ratio for this fund, the Loomis Sales Global Allocation C share, is, I wish I had a drum roll. I could put one in. 1.87%.
Oh my God, almost 2%
a year.
Oh, that is, that's not something we'd again wish even on my mother-in-law.
And does that expense ratio go to the brokerage firm?
Yes.
Or a portion of it?
Well, some of it, yeah.
I'll tell you what portion of it does. Let's see. Hold on. I got to pull up the pricing structure. My guess is that The fund. Yeah, the fund itself takes 0.7%. 1% per year goes to the brokerage firm, and then there's some other administrative fees. So the brokerage firm gets the lion's share of that every year. So the broker who sold it to her, he actually didn't get the 1%. The 1% goes back into Loomis Sales' pocket. They paid the broker 5% when he sold it to your mom.
And then they're just collecting it over time.
Let me throw one more in, just
Sure.
for kicks.
Sure, I love this.
Don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all.
I'm not acquainted with this fund either. Veritas.
Veritas?
Alien. Yeah, Veritas. So
Yeah.
here's the symbol. AZNCX.
All right, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to hold off on the reveal on this fund until after the news,
I
after
can tell
this
you
break.
it's not going to be
break,
good.
Short
It's
break
not
for the
gonna be good.
podcast, longer break for the folks listening, but the news is coming up, so stick around.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
I went to my door this morning, I opened it up, and guess who was outside the door? It's like Tom Cock. I'm going,
What?
where did you come from?
How'd you find
Don't
your
you
way
live
here?
in Seattle?
I even walked to your house today. It was a delightful morning.
Delightful weather.
Delightful
You just
morning.
can't get over how nice the weather is.
Delightful.
Come back in August.
No, I'll be, you know where I'll be in August. I'll be.
Lake Chelan.
Oh, yeah, boy. And it's going to be sunny
It's
and
a tradition.
100, but I'll be jumping in the water.
It's
So
the Chelan tradition.
There you
Welcome
go.
back to Talking Real Money, the show, the podcast, and this week only, if all goes well, a weird video. A weird
this
video.
is going to be strange, but
Yeah.
it'll be a big ratings
more-
poll. We might get to 150 people on that one. Maybe 175 if it really happens.
We get 40,000 people listening to the show on the radio and 40,000 listening to the podcast. And then on YouTube, we get 14.
12. Yeah, makes sense.
Guys, go to our YouTube channel, okay? It's on, guess where? YouTube.
Really hard. You just
Go
type
to
it in
YouTube.
and you type in Talking Real Money.
But didn't I say, before I go back to Jerry,
Yeah.
didn't I say when our boss suggested we do videos,
It's not
didn't
gonna
I
work.
say it's not going to work?
Yeah, but we're nice people, so we try to be compliant.
Now let's go back to Jerry, who, before we were so rudely interrupted by news and stuff, asked us to look at the mutual fund AZNCX. Get this name. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Veritas Allianz Global Income and Growth.
And okay,
Wait, you ready for the punchline? No, don't speak. I got a punchline.
Yeah?
I need to give it air. It needs to breathe.
Okay.
You have to, it's a dramatic pause. I got to do it again. The Veritas Allianz Global Income and Growth C shares.
Okay. And we already said how awful C shares, but
again.
income and growth. That's such a mixed metaphor because what it's suggesting is you're going to get some income. Well, we're going to grow it at the same time. They're two completely different things.
It's a blue chip stock fund and some bonds. Small portfolio, not well diversified. And Jerry, you ready?
Oh yeah, big news.
Jerry, still there?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Me too. I've been on the ready. Here's the expense ratio for this one. You thought that other one was bad? This one's 1.88%. So the other's a bargain.
Yeah, your good news is you're saving money on the other one.
Saving a
Nah,
basis
we shouldn't
point.
be laughing. We don't think your mother-in-law is getting treated fairly.
No.
Again, this is not fiduciary advice. It can't be.
Nope.
Due to
Nope.
the fact that it's
you
set up.
cannot sell someone a C share and be
No.
a fiduciary. That violates the law. The law.
So, yeah, we don't think, again, and these are tricky business when your mother-in-law has a relationship with somebody. I get all that, but this is not fair treatment of her. I'll put it that way.
But I bet they're very nice.
It is they serve pulled pork lunches at times and send flowers over periodically and
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention the broker and the firm also get 0.25%. In addition to the 5% up front, they get 0.25% every year for as long as she's a client.
Where's that? Is that in addition to?
No, that's just
advisory
part of
fee
the
or part of
1%. That's part of the 1%. They kick back. It's what's called in the industry. It's called a trailer or a trailing commission.
Okay, so then on top of these high expense ratios you're sharing with me, there's an advisory fee.
No.
Oh no, there
No,
can't
be.
No. Okay, check, because if she's being charged an advisory fee in addition to the 12B1 of C shares, then that is a violation of that advisor's fiduciary responsibility, a blatant.
Well, not just fiduciary. I don't think you can do it under suitability. I mean, I don't think you can do it. You said fiduciary standard.
No. But I'm saying if they're getting a fiduciary fee
and they're paying. Good point.
Then this would be a case you wouldn't even need a lawyer for this one. This would be one where you could go directly to the Securities and Exchange Commission with a complaint, and they would start an investigation.
Before we move on, why do you believe she's paying an advisory fee?
Well, so excuse my ignorance.
No.
But I thought the fact that she is just a client of this Raymond James Wealth firm, that they would charge a flat advisory fee in addition to building this portfolio that has all these expense ratios.
They had better not. And that's why I would like you to look very closely at her statements and make sure there's no additional fee being charged to her. My guess is they are not that stupid, because that would really get them in trouble. Thanks for the call. Get it into Vanguard or something else.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
At some point, most investors need professional financial guidance. So get a little bit of free help or a lifetime of affordable 100% fiduciary guidance at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hey, Tom, here's an idea.
Yeah.
Why don't we raise Vestry by Apellis fees by like 0.5% and send people pulled pork sandwiches and flowers?
All we do is pull punches, so no, we're not doing the pork.
No pork.
Yep.
All right, then. It's a bad
Good
idea
idea.
again.
No, it was a bad
it was
idea.
a bad idea. It was terrible. 855-935-8255. Give us a call. We'd love to talk with you and help you out with this money stuff that can be so confusing, so frustrating. I mean, and so many of these firms are so bad at what they do. They're so bad. Well, actually, they're not. I don't even know if they're bad at what they do. They're just, I feel like so many of them, they just don't have a conscience. They're conscience-free.
Yeah, I do think that portfolio was particularly horrible. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to mention an aside before we go back to the phones. This is something you all need to know. If you work with a broker, if you love your broker, fine. Make sure your broker does right by you. And you can tell these guys did not, because one, they use C shares.
Yeah.
No one should ever use C shares.
No.
Two, I would assume she has more than, a couple $100,000 invested. That's what it sounded like. What the broker should have done to do at least a little better by her is use one fund group. For example, American funds. If you use one fund group, you can combine all of the different funds into one investment with them over a period of 13 months, by the way, and get a reduced commission that can go as low as 0.
Instead of paying what did you say, 5%?
Instead of the 1.88 annually, which is 5% to the broker up front, no matter how many funds you have, it never reduces. That's why they do it. They make out like bandits. If they have a big account and they use breakpoints, they make less in commission. But they understand that it's also a little less work. That's why we reduce our fees as accounts get bigger.
Yeah.
855-935-TALK. Tom, you're up next. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
I have a question. I am currently with Schwab. I've been with them for the last 6 years and quite satisfied with the direction they're taking me. But the question I'm posing to you, I hope you can steer me in. And when my time comes to leave this earth, I have quite a bit of amassed to my children. Mm-hmm. And what steps or things can I do to keep them from having this inheritance burn money in their pocket, and maybe try to get them to stay somewhat invested for their future rather than take all the money out and do whatever they want to do with it.
That's one of those great questions.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really more of an estate planning issue where you're really, if you write a trust, you can write the trust or have someone write it for you. You can have it written any way you want. A certain amount of money goes out every year, a certain amount of the earnings go out every year, whatever it is, so that beyond the grave, as they say, you still have some control over your money.
Yeah, this is an irrevocable trust that you create in advance, and the trust really does make the decisions. It has to be done per the trust. And if you don't use a trust, then generally speaking, the people to whom you leave it have the sole discretion as to what to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sometimes it's a hard call to make because, some people are better at managing money than others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a very hard call.
You don't want to insult your family.
Which is why you probably want to build it. You probably want to build a trust that includes everybody and applies basically the same rules to everyone.
And number 3, I would share it with them. I mean, again, the issues I generally see around these are when people get as a surprise, I thought Dad was leaving me $1 million. Well, he is, but it's $50,000 a year for 20 years. I wish he had told me that. So the toughest conversation could be that one, but it also eliminates potential litigation down the road when people say, is this right, et cetera, equaled, as Don said, because one thing we do know is when you leave a certain amount or a certain way to one person and a different way to another, almost guarantees a lawsuit.
They're going to sue.
And then the explanation to family members, I find, also alleviates the need for additional attorney's fees.
And a good estate attorney is going to guide you in exactly that direction. So that's what I would get, a great elder law attorney.
Yep.
Okay?
Thanks, Tom.
Good luck.
That I've heard is that if you have a will and it's more than 5 years old, it's considered to be a gray will, which can be contested. Is that true to your knowledge?
Any will can be contested.
And I don't know the answer to that. So
any will can be contested. Even trusts can be contested.
Of course, yeah.
Anyone can sue over anything, anytime.
And probably will.
That's
why I'm saying about the
That's
equal
why
part.
you really need a well drawn up document, and you don't want any. You don't want any of this. I know people swear by the online stuff. If you have an estate that's about $12, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Otherwise,
but a complex
need the help.
estate, you better get a good attorney. Thanks for the call. We really appreciate it. And Susan, you're next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Well, thanks, Tom and Don. Love your guys' show. Been listening for quite a while now, and every week you teach me something different, or at least I tell my husband you did.
I'm sure that goes over
great.
well.
You're lying to your husband now.
Don't start with us.
Oh.
Come on.
Well, it gives me an excuse to listen for 2 hours and not do chores. So my mom has got a bunch of cash sitting in a bank account, and bless her heart, she's likely not going to need to use it because she hasn't in the last 2 years. But I don't know what to suggest to her when we move it to Vanguard portion of it, because even though she's got quite a bit of money at Vanguard, she no longer has somebody who will help her with the onboarding. And so every time we call, we get somebody different. Mm-hmm. So what would you suggest for cash that she has a very low risk tolerance, but the truth is she's just not going to need it. And right now she's about 80-20, 80 in bonds and 20 in equities.
So 20-80.
So
how
she's
much
a
money?
very conservative investor. Yeah.
Yeah. How much money are we talking about?
She has $300,000 sitting there, but I don't think I can get her to transfer probably more than $200,000.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
She just kind of likes having that cash around.
Can I? This is in just a regular old bank?
Yes.
In a checking account or savings account?
Yes.
With the other 100, we might be able to afford Disney World tomorrow. I don't know.
I know.
Come on, join us. Let's go. What I would probably try to get her to do with some of that, since she doesn't need that kind of liquidity, is go to a higher yielding savings account and transfer that money into that, because it can be transferred back to her checking account in a day.
Yep.
And it's FDIC insured and no risk. For example, Comenity Bank, which after yesterday's podcast, I opened an account and put money in there. It was easy as pie, and it pays 0.75%.
Which is much more than you're going to get. The other money, again, if she's already at Vanguard, we're fans. They had their little problem not long ago that got a lot of publicity. But, I mean, what about then just having a moderate portfolio there? A little more in stocks, because this isn't money she's going to need.
She's not going to do it.
Don's waving his head
She's
back
not
and
going
forth.
to do it.
Give me the SMH. But why wouldn't you just use some of the similar funds that she's in today and just sort of reallocate that to that low-risk portfolio?
Like.
We can do that.
Yeah, just do that.
Okay, then that's what we'll do. Baby steps with her.
Yeah,
Baby
it makes
steps,
sense. Yeah.
But get her to move a little bit of that immediate cash into a high-yield savings account, because it'll link to her regular checking account, and in a day she can have money moved if she needs it in an emergency, and it's 100% safe. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
We had questions today on everything from a hodgepodge portfolio to I-bonds to what do I do with my father's 401k, my mother-in-law.
Hey, let me back in the studio.
Oh, yeah. Well,
hey, you locked the door.
I guess I did mean to. Mom's cash and bank account. All of these suggest that, many of you may need the help of an advisor, a 100% fee-only fiduciary advisor.
Yeah, we know where there are good ones.
Yeah, and all you have to do is set up an appointment for any time that works for you. It's no cost, no obligation.
Is that Vestory.com?
It is. It's Vestory. V as in victory, E as in Edward, STORY.com. Vestory.com. Get the appointment, get the help you need, and get it all right.
Oh, why did you lock me? Okay, go to Vestory, Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
It was getting warm in here.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That should keep the lawyers happy.